Well, we're here. We're back. I want to compare this directly to the Queen Bee. I don't know if the Queen Bee is the same thing. It's a sun. Well, the one I had was a Sungrown. I don't know if the Queen Bee comes in other wrappers. You know, when it gets to this mid-tier level of Fuente, I must say that I'm an amateur compared to like everything else or other things I've smoked from Fuente. Really, and that's, you know, it is what it is. Temperature definitely dropped. It's not brutal out, but it was just it just kind of stopped raining, but it's kind of a rainy day. Honestly, it's a nice looking mid-tier cigar. A little too much glue stuck there on the top, but no big deal. It's got a full pack, medium brown looking wrapper. And this is looks so round to be around Toro. The question is, like, how is this different than the Sungrown? And this was, I'm sorry, the Queen Bee, and this being $1 cheaper. Now, is that just because this is a Toro and the other one was a Torpedo, around Toro size? You know, perhaps. Both had, I think, cedar lining. So nice presentation for a mid-tier cigar, you know what I'm saying, though? And so the question is, like, you know, it's an extra $1, but you might as well, should you just go for the 858? It's the same blend, just save the $1? I don't know. This in Pennsylvania, you pay $6 and change. That's not bad for it. If this is just even a decent mid-tier cigar. Where's fucking right here? Some bad luck here. They're trying to chop. Okay. Then I slab it all over that. This is what it is. Similar honey note that I was getting off of similar honey note off of like the Queen Bee. So and there I might say it feels slightly smoother than the Queen Bee. So once again, though, let me know if you have any legal documentation or information that is the only difference the size, or is there, because both are listed as a Sungrown with Dominican fillers. This one I found out is Ecuadorian Connecticut seed that went through sun-grown process, obviously leaving it out in the sun longer, ripening it. I'll be honest, I think I like the 858 better than the Queen Bee. I had a good time with the Queen Bee. Here's an affordable Torpedo. This is even more affordable, and I think it's coming a little smoother. Still probably about strong. Both have this slightly nutty, honey syrupy kind of vibe to it. Nowhere near like when you're having the great cigars like the Hemingway or the Nejos or Rare Pink. So those are all superior to this. But this is superior in cost, meaning it's very much cheaper. So, I mean, when you raise the cost of something, it better be justified. Or if not, you're an idiot. At the same time, I do research here for the channel, for myself, for posterity. And whether you're budgeting or whether you say, depending on different times. Sometimes I just don't always want a high-end cigar. And then also you gotta say, what is a high-end cigar? If you gave this cigar to an average guy, you might say, oh, this is a classy cigar. Because if he's only smoking with Dutch Masters, or definitely if he's homeless, he's like, my God, it's my birthday. Not even, oh my God, it must be wants to die and went to heaven. I guarantee any homeless person would love to smoke. Yes, that being said, so you can say, what, you're better than them? Like, maybe you made better decisions. At the same time, like, you shouldn't be, it's better to humble yourself before life humbles you. The point is this. Slightly creamy. Yeah, I like the 858 Sungrown better than the Queen Bee. I'm just going to keep it real simple like that. I'm not going to go into a long, drawn-out thing. I think the Queen Bee was a little more, like, extra aggressive. Maybe almost even a little stronger. I like the way this finish is coating. In my opinion, I think Fuente's on their mid-tier. The Sungrowns are my least favorite. I'm not crazy. Even with Hemingways, I'm not. Even with Don Carlos, the Sungrowns were my least favorite. I liked it for all the regular Don Carlos. Not that I've seen a Maduro Don Carlos, but all the regular Don Carlos, the Cameroon was different levels. And the Sungrown under the God of Fire, Prometheus, although really a great cigar. Was that a Mano Sun? I don't know. The point is, for me with Fuentes, overall, I'm not saying every, but overall, I prefer not their Sungrowns. Overall, I'm not saying I don't like any of their Sungrowns. I didn't say that. We're talking about, like, especially with the Hemingways, I prefer the Maduros first. This is not a bad cigar at all. First cigar of the day. I'm not going to say it's a massively delicious cigar. I'm not going to hype this up and go, guys, this is the best $6 cigar I have. However, though, at Pennsylvania pricing, in New York, this would be a $15 cigar. This might be one of the better, if not one of the best, budget price at $6. At $6, which would be around the same price at a store here for, like, even in Inspirado. I would say this is, unless with the Inspirado, because they have more exotic blends with the Brazilian green or the black, it's stronger, more chocolatey. But as far as just head-to-head, as far as quality, I think the construction and the age on, I think you're getting a lot for your money, In a way, the price of a cigar doesn't mean its value. It doesn't mean its worth. But how good it tastes versus the price, then there's the value. Does that make any sense? If something sucks and it's expensive, it has no value. If something's great and it's expensive, it's not a good value, but you enjoyed it, so maybe it's an even trade. If something's awesome and it's not that expensive, high value. The less you ask and the more you give, the higher the value. Does that make any sense? This one's more buttery. Yeah, no, the 858, whatever is different in the blend, I don't know. I literally typed in Fuente 858, and then Fuente Queen Bee Sungrown, and then Fuente 858 Sungrown versus Fuente Queen Bee Sungrown. And I couldn't find, like, a direct, like, is it like different, similar bands, but in a similar price points, but, like, is there a difference? Like, is there a literal difference as far as the tier or the aging or even the blend itself? Both have Sungrown wrappers, but okay, primings, aging, everything else. I think the 858 is a superior blend. It obviously is different size, but I'm just saying I like this better. It's a good Fuente mid-tier cigar. I'll come back later on. That's solid. The 858 Sungrown, I can get down with this. Great construction. I'm going to drop that ash. And it dropped. Now, if you're new to the channel, when you drop a large ash, you might drop a piece of your cherry. So just be mindful. You might have to just do a little touch up with a match or distance with a torch lighter. When you let go of a large ash, it could pull a piece of the cherry out, and then you might have some irregular burn. Generally what happens is, from the outside, and you might have a little tunneling issue after you drop a cherry, where the center's still going, and then the wrapper might be getting left out. So in this case, I'm not even worried about the center. I'm just going to get a little flame here around the circumference, because the wrapper burns faster than the center of the Ligero, but the Ligero they put in the center to give the cigar strength, as far as the construction, and it burns slower. The Ligero is thicker, it burns longer though, and it goes out. Takes longer to go out, but also it takes longer to light up. It's thicker tobacco. Things that go fast, go fast. It's like momentum. I gotta say, I actually almost thoroughly enjoyed this cigar. It is better than the Queen Bee Sungrown, and this coming in $1 cheaper for the same price, or even this being $1 cheaper for the same price, I would smoke this 858 Sungrown over the Queen Bee Sungrown. However, though, if your only issue is if you want it, the Queen Bee Sungrown was a little more earthier, but also a little less refined, a little more. It was not just earthy, it was more edgy. It felt a little dirtier. So I preferred this, even though obviously I prefer stronger cigars overall. This had enough strength. I'd say it's like a more heavy medium plus. But it was a little more nutty, a little more creamier, and like a little more softer around the edges compared to the Queen Bee. So between the two, if you just want the stronger one, go for the Queen Bee. This is sweeter. The honey note is, and they both have similar honey notes, but this is a little more sweeter on the honey side. And I think the 858 is just a better cigar. And coming in $1 cheaper, and that might just be because of the traditional rolling and not the torpedo, and I don't know what else they gave you, because they both had the nice cellophane with the big sticker, and they both had cedar. So the Queen Bee was a little more intense, but a little less refined. That's the main difference, my friend. 65% the darkness, a long finish. However, the Queen Bee finishes longer and heavier. So these are caveats in between. You can both enjoy them for $6-7 each. It's really affordable mid-tier cigars. You could do way worse. However, I think the winner is the 858. However, if you want the stronger cigar, that's the only means, and you don't mind it being a little more rougher, and maybe you want to age it for a year, then get the Queen Bee. But head to head, the 858 almost feels like it could be like more age, even though maybe it's just a different blend or a tweaked blend. That I can't say. I don't know all of Fuente's madness, because it's easy just to say, well, Ecuadorian sun-grown wrapper. Yes, Dominican fillers. What kind of Dominican fillers? What priming? How much age? Even within it, all the different type of fillers. How do they, when they roll it, with the placement, and all that affects the flavor and how it pushes the wrapper. Right there went to medium full, and right there, like a smoky, slight charred wood came into it. I think the Queen Bee had more of that presence with the charred wood. So the difference is, if you want more charred wood, more strength, more spice, more earthiness, get the Queen Bee Sungrown, and of course another $1, but it's not as refined as the 858. The 858 I found more balanced, more smoother, more sweeter. So the direct comparison is that. In my opinion, I'm going with the 858. Even though I prefer stronger cigars overall, between the two, I think I'll still take more of a better blend and a little more polished, and with strength being a secondary thing. Strength to me is not the primary. However, if they're going to take this cigar and push it a little stronger, that'd be even better. But that being said, the Queen Bee had a little bit of unrefinement to it, but still enjoyable. Yeah, this might be one of like the perfect everyday Fuente cigar that's affordable, and it's around the same price as, let's say, the short story, $6. But the short story is this big though, so you're gonna get half the time. So if you want a better cigar, but half the time, get the short story Cameroon. But if you want more time and the same price, something's got to give, then you get this 858 Sungrown. It's enjoyable. Nothing bad to say about it. I mean, it's not a rare pink. It's not an Opus X. It's $6.50. With the honey, slight nuttiness, slight black pepper, slight charred wood, kind of oily butteriness to it. Kind of a long finish, but not as heavy as the other one. I'm going to give this a 4.7. It's a really high value. With the profile and the price point and the length of the smoke, very slow burning, for what you're getting for the price and the size of the cigar and the actual profile and the enjoyment of it, all those things combined for $6 and change, a 4.7 is due. I really think, for $6 in Pennsylvania pricing, that's really hard to beat at $6. Because I'm a big fan of the Inspirato line at $6-7 in Pennsylvania pricing, and there's some great blends. And those cigars are gonna be even bigger, like a Big Toro, I don't know, 652 or 654, I don't know. But I think this is a little better cigar than Inspirato, by a little bit. But that is what it is. But, you know, you get sick of smoking the same things. That's why I like to review different things and put out different content so you can have a heads up. Or while you're watching and learn about what you're smoking. Because it's not just smoking a cigar, it's being aware against itself. It's different sizes, same cigar with different wrappers, at different price points, internet, different states. Remember the humidity part. If your cigar is way too wet, you might be thinking you have a plug drawer or a slow burn. It might just be too wet, you know. If it can't come out of the cellophane, it gained too much water weight. And if the band can't slide at all, it could be too much glue, but also could be let it sit out for a day. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it's out of your humidor, and let it just breathe. Even for a few hours. Cut the cap and just let it breathe. Let it just breathe. Can't stress that enough. I think this is a solid, workable, semi-enjoyable, affordable, everyman's Fuente. It's at full size, whereas the short stories like everyman's Fuente, like kind of like a semi-luxury cigar for a really low price. The only catch is it's going to be really short for $6. Whereas this, if you want a full-size cigar, it's not as good as the short story. Definitely a little lower tier. Okay, it's not bullshit here, but you're getting a lot more time, and it's still enjoyable. So to get a full-size cigar for $6, a Fuente quality, and there's different tiers of Fuente. There really is. Like Davidoff's Davidoff, but there is different tiers of Davidoff, but all Davidoffs are generally going to be luxury cigars, and higher up you go. Whereas Fuente, you go from curly head, this above curly head, next step you go in the short stories, and then from there, whatever. Sky's the limit, as Sacco says. You know, let's just pick it up a little bit. Get a little more smoky, a little more charred wood. And the honey note's still there. It's quite buttery. Nothing bad to say about it. Stay fresh. Go with God.